I'm going to give it a few seconds to let the YouTube get started up and let some people join in on Instagram. But I love this music. A few years ago, we needed some intro music for our podcast that I was doing with Cards, and we hired a dude on Fiverr, and he made us some music that we could own the royalties to and use for all of our stuff. And I think it's got a good jam to it. I'm a fan. But you know what else I'm a fan of? I am a big fan of the greatest live stream in the world, which you must be too, because you are here with me now. And if you're here, then that means you've already figured out that this is, without a question, the best part of your week, possibly even your month, and maybe, just maybe, even your life. Because today you're going to learn some very important things that might change your framing about how you view the world, about how you view women, about how you view relationships. And it might, just might, for at least 1% of you guys out there, today's live stream is going to turn around your dating life so much that you are going to get the girlfriend or maybe even wife of your dreams as a result of today's stream. Sounds like a pretty good deal, right? Costs you nothing to join in, costs you nothing to watch, and you get so many benefits out of it. But if you really want the best of all the benefits, if you really want to take this up to the highest possible level, to reach the height of humanity, the culmination of civilization that is Live with Jack. Hi, I'm Jack. Then you need to join me now. Find yourself something to drink. I have a mug of coffee. And lift your glasses in a rousing cheers with chaps as we join together across the globe in one drink together. Cheers. Oh, I like having special theme music for our cheers with chaps. It's a wonderful way to start the show. Now, today we're going to be talking about something that is a little bit difficult because there are so many different moving parts in dealing with this. Today we're talking about logistics, specifically dating logistics. What do you need to do that's good? What should you avoid that's bad? And what are the ugly parts that a lot of people don't tell you that you need to know if you want to actually be successful on your dates and in your relationships? So let's just jump straight into it. First of all, what does that even mean? What are dating logistics? Basically, it just means that your dating flow is set up to provide the least amount of friction along the way from start to finish. Now, what you consider finish is different for every person, depending on what kind of relationship you're looking for, depending on what kind of girl you're dating. The way that it finishes is going to be different. But the fact is that your logistics need to be sound. Why? Why does it even matter? Papa Jack, it doesn't matter. As long as I can get a girl out on a date, who cares? Who cares where I live or where she lives or where we're going or how we're getting there, right? It doesn't matter. I just wanted to get the girl on the date. Okay, great. But now that you've got her out on a date, what's step 2, right? And if you've created a lot of friction there by having bad logistics, step 2 doesn't happen. The reason for this is because basically in human nature, the more friction that something has, the harder something is to do, the less likely somebody is to actually do that thing. So if your goal is to take a girl's number and then take her out on a date that weekend, okay, you meet her on Thursday and then you want to take her on a date on Saturday. Great. So now you have your start goal, your end goal. Okay, how are you going to make that happen? Well, if you don't get her number, then you can't, right? And so that would be like step 1 in logistics 101, which is you need to actually facilitate the things to happen. You need to have You need to have her contact information. You need to have an opening in your schedule. You need to have reliable transportation to get there, whether that means that you're driving there or you're picking her up, or you have subways, metros, buses, something like that to reliably get around town. You need to have those things worked out. That is the most baseline of logistics, right? And I'm sure that everybody listening to this is saying, oh, Jack, I know, obviously I need to get her number. Do you though? Because the number of guys that I've coached who have gone up to girls, approached them, had a great conversation, and then said, okay, well, let's go to this place, right? They've done everything right. They've set it all up in the conversation. They already have a date scheduled. And then they say, okay, well then I'll see you on Saturday. And then they walk away and they say, shit, Jack, I forgot to get her number. I have no way of contacting this girl. And then what are you going to do? Like try to get on Craigslist, missed connections or some shit? Like that's not going to work, right? That's not going to work. Terrible dating strategy. Just like we talked about last week. You're playing the lottery. Don't do that. Do your best to remove luck from the equation. Now, once you actually go out on a date, this is where the logistics become a little bit more difficult because it's going to be different for each person in different cities, in different setups with different kinds of girls, different kinds of relationships. All that stuff changes based on your current situation. But your ideal situation is to be living fairly near each other so that neither of you has to travel a lot. Find a good public place somewhere in the middle where you'll both feel comfortable and have a date that's as relaxed as possible for both of you. Because if either of you is feeling like tensed up, or if she's feeling nervous or scared because you took her to the sketchy part of town where it's down by like all the little the porn shops and stuff and like selling anime sex dolls, and she's, what the hell is going on, right? Bad logistics. If you're setting a date up in a place like that, right? So this is why logistics are important, because she's going to ditch out if you're doing it wrong. Now, depending on how it is that you want this date to end, you want it to end with a kiss, you want it to end with a promise to a second date, you want it to end back at your place, the way that you go about it is going to be different, as in the way that you actually have the date, the things that you talk about, the way that you lead the date is going to be different. But, pardon me, but your logistics should be the same for all of them, because you should have all the options on the table for any given date. Why? Why, Jack? Well, several reasons. And the first is, especially if it's your first date, you don't know her yet, right? You barely know her, and she doesn't know you either. So maybe you get her out on a date and you're thinking like, oh, this could be girlfriend material. I like her. She seems interesting. She seems cool. She's fun to be with. And then you get her out on a date and she's got red flags for girlfriends, but green flags for hookups. Then can you change it on the fly? Well, if your logistics are the same for everything, then yes. And so far, in my many years of life, and my many years of dating, and my many years of coaching, I have never once met a guy who said, yeah, I took this girl out on a date and, I thought maybe she was going to be girlfriend material, but then we started talking and it turns out, maybe she's not great for girlfriend material. And so I just decided, well, I could hook up with you tonight, but I'm just not going to. That doesn't happen. So I know that for you guys out there, if you're out on a date like that and you meet a girl, you want to have all your options on the table. Because great, if she ends up being good girlfriend material, good relationship material, you can keep her around for a long time. Perfect. Wonderful. Right? Like that's what we want. Most of us. Maybe not Lemmy-Winks here, but most of us want something longer, something deeper, something more interesting, more important in our lives. But also, if that's not a possibility, I will absolutely accept getting my dick sucked. So you need to have your logistics open to that. Now let's get into the details of it. How do you set up these logistics? What's your best situation for this? Best situation is nearby your home and in a public place that is fun, that is interesting, that is enjoyable. If you can get that set up, if you can live nearby a cool bar, then that is your perfect date spot. Logistics. If you know the bartenders there and they're not going to blow you up for taking a different girl on a date there at different times, if they're going to have your back, if they're going to give you discounts and make you look like a local celebrity. Logistics. This stuff matters because it matters whether you're trying to make a girlfriend or whether you're trying to hook up. It still helps every single time. Now, what if you have bad logistics? What if you don't live anywhere near cool stuff to do? A couple of things you can do in that kind of situation. If you have bad logistics, you can either, one, go to the places that are good and fun to hang out and then try to get her to come back to your home, which is far away. That's hard. Or two, you can try to find fun and cool things nearby your place, wherever you live. That's easier, but it's harder to get them to travel there in the first place. So, out of these two, which is better? Honestly, the second one is better. The first one is easier to get started. It has a lower barrier to entry because you just go to the place where everything's already happening, right? But then what? Then you have to try to convince someone that going back to your place, an hour cab ride away or however far it is the smart thing to do next. And that's a really tough sell. Now, it gets harder whenever alcohol starts getting involved and you're like, yeah, let's go back over here because I know this kicking spot with a bottle of tequila and I'm the DJ because it's called my home. Then okay, it gets harder again, right? But what if you're able to give it your full best sales pitch, your full best game, and get them to come out to see cool stuff in a place they've never been before? Well, now it's almost like a travel opportunity to come out to your place. Still not as good as living near all the good stuff, of course. But I used to live outside of Seoul in Incheon, and it was about an hour cab ride away from the bar district in Hongdae. And one of my friends, who shall remain nameless, he actually created and printed up a little trifold brochure about our small town and all the cool stuff that was there. He had to dig deep to find something that was kind of maybe a little bit interesting to put on there because there was nothing. But still, he created a thing and it looked nice and it looked like a tourist brochure. And so it made it easier for the girls to say yes to come out there because they're like, oh, it's kind of a travel opportunity. I've never been there before. I've never had that experience. Yeah, I'll give it a try. Let's go and look. And it worked well. Not as well as living in the good spot, but better than just trying your luck. So remember, our goal is to, as much as possible, take luck out of the equation. This does that. If you have bad logistics, you have to find a way to make them look appealing. Now, you could also have the best logistics in the world. You could live literally right upstairs from the coolest bar in all of town, and you're still going to have a hard time getting a girl to agree to come back to your place. Why? Because if you say to a girl, hey, let's go back to my place, you're basically propositioning her for sex. She knows that. You know that. But you kind of have to at some point, right? And so this is a conundrum that I've seen a lot of guys have of like, should I try to make it seem accidental. Oh, let's go take a walk. Wow, what a coincidence. That's my apartment. Or should I say, hey, let's go somewhere else and kind of dress it up in language like I was saying earlier. Let's go back to this place. You know, the lighting is perfect and there's really comfortable places to sit. They have cold tequila and hot music, and I know the DJ personally, right? And you kind of make it a little bit of a joke. Coot says he's going to make a Daejeon pamphlet. Yeah, I mean, dude, you absolutely can do that. Right. So to the question of actually getting her to come back to your place, this is where it gets a little bit ugly, because depending on your personality, your style, and the types of girls that you're dating, the way you approach this is going to be very different. However, you do need to have some kind of, for lack of a better term, bait. Something that can only be done at your house, that is a reason to go there, that is not sex. So if you have a dog and you say, hey, you like dogs, right? I need to go walk my dog. Let's go back and we'll pick him up and take a walk around the block. His name's Simba. You're going to love him. Okay. That's bait, right? Because it's a reason to come back to your place. You pick up the dog and then you go around a little bit, right? She gets to meet the dog and she sees that you're not a crazy person, that you're a safe person to be around. Like, okay, he does not have an axe murder dungeon. Excellent. That's great news. She's going to feel more comfortable in your place. I wouldn't lie about it. I don't think that that's a good idea. Like, the whole accidental walk by, it can work. It can work well. But I don't think it's as effective because it seems deceptive from the get-go, right? So, for example, if I told you guys that we were going to have a meetup next month, we're going to have a meetup in the coolest spot of all of Seoul, and it's BYOB, so you can drink as cheap as you want. That sounds great, right? But then you show up and it's actually just me hanging out in a forest with a blanket and a cooler full of beer. And it's like, yeah, it's cool. It's the middle of December. It's really cool out. And since we're not inside, this is the coolest place in Seoul. And it is BYOB. You would feel like you were misled, right? And you'd probably be a bit angry at me, justifiably so. I feel like the same thing is true whenever you try to deceive the girl into coming back to your place. Even, you know, the accidental walk by, she knows that you know your neighborhood, right? You're either deceiving her or you're a moron who doesn't know his own neighborhood. And oh, what a surprise. We just happened to be right by, like, come on, right? And I don't think that that works as well because it starts off with a deceptive foot, which makes her question you more, question your motives, question your safety, right? Because if you're willing to lie about going back to your place, then what else are you lying about? Is she going to get there and then, like, your wife is going to walk in on you guys mid-coitus, right? It introduces questions that you don't want to have introduced. It introduces doubt that you don't need to have introduced. You don't want that. And so, again, you might get lucky. She might not notice, but we are trying to remove luck from the equation. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, Papa Jack, what could I possibly use as bait? I don't have a dog. I don't play guitar. I don't have books and plush dolls. And like we were talking about this stuff, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? Something like that. We were talking about the different things that you could have as hobbies that would make people interested. And the same thing works for this, where it doesn't matter what you have. You can have anything as long as it's something that is reasonable, that only can be done at your place. There's one guy I coached who I thought that this was the stupidest shit I had ever heard when he told me that this is what he was doing, but he swore by it because it worked for him. He was fairly fresh to Korea, hadn't been here long, so he didn't have a whole lot of stuff in his apartment. He didn't have a lot of hobbies and things like that to show. but he had a photo album that he had put together of a trip he took to, I don't remember, Europe or something like that. He had this photo album that he'd put together of a long vacation he took once. And he would ask girls, hey, I have this cool photo album that I put together from this trip I took a few years ago, and I'd like to show it to you because I think that there's some things in there that you would find interesting. And it worked because they also know that even with the bait, it's still basically a proposition, but it's a proposition sent out as a feeler of like, I'm trying to see if you have interest and you're trying to see if I'm cool to hang out with and if I'm safe. So let me, to the best of my ability, make both of us happy so that whenever we do finally get down to business, we're both comfortable with it. That works well. That's why you have some kind of bait. You have something like that to go to get you guys back there. Now remember, if you're far away, your bait needs to be really, really good, right? I mean, even, hey, I need to walk my dog. This is a picture of my dog. He's really cute. His name is Simba. Was only good enough bait to work 25% of the time. And that's a really good one because it's a cute dog. And actually, you do need to walk the dogs so that they don't pee in your home, right? And so a good excuse, completely legitimate, really cute animal involved, and even still, because of the distance, because of the bad logistics, it didn't work very often. So, for yourself, what can you do to improve your logistics today? If you have found anything in this first part of the lesson to be useful, I want to go ahead and ask you guys right now to hit the little thumbs up button, give me a like, give me a little heart on Instagram, give me all the loving, all that stuff that feeds the algorithm, that basically encourages me to keep doing what I'm doing and providing you with free, useful things. But also, I want you to think for yourself, what can I do to improve my logistics now? What happens if I get a girl back to my place and she sees my place? Is she going to like it? Is she not going to like it? Why not? That's going to be the first question that we're going to answer whenever I bring in the player panel in a minute. And we're going to have all the boys give their different opinions on things. And I'm very excited for that. But for those of you currently watching on Instagram Live, I'm going to have to let you go because I don't know how to link these things up. Instagram won't let me link it to my PC. So blame Instagram for not being able to do it, but you can also check out the link on YouTube, which I currently have posted up in my profile. And so you can join us there to see the live Q&A. Ask your questions there, no matter what they are, and we will take them. We will answer them for you. And with that said, I'll see you Instagram guys. Oh, there it is. Paul has just dropped the link into the comments. Thank you. You're a true hero. So click the link, come and watch the video, join in for the Q&A, and I'll see you guys next time. Now, for you guys joining us on YouTube and Twitter, you get the benefit of the full player panel. Let's go ahead and bring them in, beginning with the kid. Now, before I bring you in, I want to make sure you intend to have your camera still on. You can, I don't mind, but it's your choice. Okay, cool. We have Paul. We have Limmy Winks, the Gerbil King, and we have Julius. We have a completely full player panel today. So, welcome, boys. It's been a while since we had the full panel all together, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a little bit of time.
Instagram is the wrong platform. Stream on Rumble, Odyssey, New Tech has better target audience. Yes, I understand what you're saying, but also I have 10,000 followers on Instagram and I have 0 on Rumble or Odyssey. So maybe 6 to 1, half dozen of the other coup.
I'll put my thing on because Paul's is on. Yeah, that's what's going on. Q&A.
Let's jump into it. The kid, do you want to read that question that we got from JJ a minute ago? Because that one's exactly on our topic.
Yeah. So we had two Discord submitted questions. So the first one is going to be, what if you bring a girl back to your place, but she starts, oh, it's your house? No, I don't want to go. Let's go outside. Blah 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 blah. So kind of last minute objection, effectively, he's talking about.
Right. I initially misread that as, what if you bring her back to your place and she's like, this is your place? No, I think I'm out. Right. I had misread the question. But yeah, for dealing with last minute resistance, that's one of the reasons that I'm really not a fan of the deceptive, hey, let's just swing by here real quick. Like, you make it clear you're going back to your place, but there's a reason for going back to your place other than, let me see what color panties you're wearing, right? Like, there's got to be something more to it.
Yeah, basically. Don't lie.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go, just be like, hey, let's go back to mine. Don't be a puss about it. Be like, oh, let's go walk past it.
Right, and like, hey, let's go back to mine is perfectly fine. Like that is a better converting line than, oh, look, we accidentally ended up at my place, right? Now the bait makes it easier, but also if you've done a good job on the date and you've been sexually escalating and you've been pushing things a bit and you can tell you're both in the mood, then just saying, hey, let's go back to mine. Yeah, great.
It's always no until you ask.
That's true.
That is very true. I have a couple stories around this. So, like, especially when I used to live down in what's it called? Down by Seoul University.
Mm-hmm.
And the place where I live was 2x3, I guess, maybe 2x3.5. So super.
How did you fit inside?
Yeah, it's like a little shoebox. And anyway, so there's a couple of times I got girls back there, and at first they object, like, this is so small, this is your room, this and this. Okay, so I have beer in the fridge, and I have a rooftop. Let's go to the rooftop. And you bring one beer for each person. Because then she gets to, like, kind of settle in that this is your hood, this is your apartment, you're on the roof, you're having a beer. The beer runs out. Okay, how about we go down and get another beer?
Right.
And then of those 4 experiences, at least 3 of them, she would then stay in the apartment rather than go back up to the roof.
Yeah.
All right. I like it. I take 4D chess with the rooftop and beer. I never did that. I would just either get straight to the point and be like, hey, let's go back to mine. Then she'd say no or yes. But like, and because I always lived so far outside somewhere, it was really hard to just be like, hey, let's go back to mine. Where's yours? Ida-san. Oh, that's kind of far. You know, how are we going to get there? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, God damn it. I was like, well, I have drinks at my place.
Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, some bait I would use is sometimes video games have worked. Like if I just go like, hey, I got the newest Resident Evil, or I have, this stuff, and they would be all into it. Like it's worked plenty of times before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Weirdly enough.
I never tried video games as bait. I should have.
Right.
But I never.
Well, now you can't, but
yeah, right.
For other people out there, yeah, like if you just, I don't know, it doesn't have to be anything like a Resident Evil, but you're something that they've probably heard about and be like,
Smash Brothers,
Smash Brothers, or
Mario Kart.
I got this weird new crazy game. I can't wait to play. I just bought it earlier today. You want to come play it with me? I got some drinks too, so if it gets bored, we'll go outside to the nearby park. That works sometimes.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to share with you guys 2 items of bait. Okay, so the best one for sluts is a yogurt, right?
Is what?
So I say I've just
Sorry,
a
you broke
yoga
up.
ball. A yoga ball.
A yoga ball. You say I have a yoga
Yeah,
ball back at my place?
Yeah. Those work wonders with sluts. I say I've just I send the photo with the candles behind and the apartment looking nice. Okay, that's for sluts. And then to play games, so Jenga. I bring them back, and the reason to come because it's fun. A lot of girls in Asia haven't played it before. I mean, go to bars do. Some bars have it, but that Jenga is the perfect game. You explain the rules, and then it's a good excuse.
Yeah.
And then play drinking games on top of the Jenga.
Yeah, Jenga's a really good game because it doesn't take long at all to explain the rules. If someone somehow has never played Jenga, then it's like just pick a block and pull it out. Cool.
Don't knock it over. That's it.
Yeah,
That's
if you knock it over, and you can turn it into a drink game.
Oh yeah. You fuck up, you buy a round of shots.
Yeah,
or
and the most
if you knock it over,
it's just got delivered.
If you knock it over, you have to do a dare, right? And like you can turn it into all sorts of stuff. However creative you want to be with it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Into if you lose, you have to remove an item of clothing. If I lose me, or blah blah blah. But
there's dirty Jenga
as well. You have to make sure they know that it hasn't been in your apartment for weeks or months.
I'm so
because
confused
she's
about
just going to be banging various girls on it. So just make sure you tell her, oh, you just got this delivered. Yeah.
Explain to me the connection. How does the yoga ball come into this?
Well, yoga ball for sluts, and I'll talk very, very dirty, very naughty. This is like when you're in a conversation on a date and you know it, and then you just want to test to see how far it's going to go. And you got the yoga ball. Also, for like sexting, if you're getting in a bit of a naughty conversation with a girl, you're not saying, I just got this, it looks fun, blah, blah, blah. You don't have to specifically, but you're implying it. And then it's a good thing to
you just
test the
send her a
waters.
picture of a yoga ball enjoying a nice candlelit scene and she's with that and she's like, yes, I want to bang on that.
You know, I used to have one and I never used it for that.
You have the Jenga just slightly tilting in the background, just peeking its head round.
Have a PlayStation right next to it in case that fails.
I sit in awe at the levels of depravity. I suppose I've just it's been a couple of months and I don't know, I've gone back to being a good boy now that the rich influence is not on me right now.
Where are you right now, Rich?
Oh, I'm in Bangkok from Vietnam.
I can tell.
A couple of days
they have like the worst internet in the world.
Pretty rough. Yeah. Bad for phone calls and light. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually remembered one more way of dealing with that. It kind of works on more shy girls and prudes.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember especially one time I had been on this date with the girl. We met up almost in the middle of the day. We'd gone like a short, like hiking, trekking course. And then we went for dinner and like, yeah, you want to grab a drink? And we just got beers at the nearest sea, right? Because we were in Chilem and none of the bars were open yet. But then she was like, but we can't really drink on the street, can we? I'm like, perfect. My house is not that far. You want to go there? Yeah. And then you just go.
Yeah. Yeah, and if she's shy to drink in public, or if she's like a student and she's used to just drinking on a budget anyway, then yeah, you can just be like, hey, we're gonna go to Club CU. Do you know Club CU? That's where they sell all the beer for really cheap, and then we grab them and we go back to my place where we can drink them for cheap, right? Like that's Club CU, right? And you know,
Yeah, the thing is that works surprisingly well with the right
Oh, yeah.
type of girls.
yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well,
I
and
remember I convinced one saying I knew the coolest, the best place in Hongdae that's still open at this hour during COVID, and they were like completely surprised, like, where? What is this place? It was just like my hotel room.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I was like, I know the DJ, and he's the best in town. It was like, me with
exactly,
my,
right?
my phone.
Yeah. Yeah, and like as you can make jokes about it, but like as long as you're telling them what it is before you go, right? You're not
Mhm.
just saying like, "Oh, come on, follow me," right? There's this really cool spot. It's still open. They have beer and they have good music. Come on, let's go. And then they get there and they're like, "Wait, you just meant your place." Okay,
Mhm.
this is shady, right?
Oh yeah, no, I mean it wasn't. I wasn't being a complete creep about it. You know, it did make it clear like I am staying here.
Yeah, many groups rented hotel rooms to drink during COVID. Yeah, I remember for a while they had tried to lock that thing down. Rich, you remember when they were saying like you can't have more than two people who are unrelated in the same room? And we were just
Stupid.
like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
okay, we completely understand the rules. We're not going to follow them, but we completely understand what you're telling us.
I wish they
That's
would have
where
told Paul
that's
about
Yeah.
that.
when Mercure really stood out. Like they didn't give a shit.
Yeah,
It would have been funny. Oh yeah,
No.
Paul and I, we're related.
yeah, yeah. We're related.
Yeah, we are related.
Totally
so are
related.
the 14 other people we have with us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
We're-
we're all related.
a nice,
We're
big,
inbred.
happy interracial family.
And also, whilst you're at it, can you bring some more ice?
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, my family's visiting. They all happen to be from around the world, all races, all
Yeah.
different races. In racially cool family. Yeah, the hotels that worked wonders. I remember you guys, you know, when you stayed at mine and Paul's place, Rich's too. Like, I mean, you know, it shows what I like about it is that it shows that how cool and resourceful you can be. Like, oh yeah, I got a hotel room, and they're all like impressed because they're all staying in shitty Goshiwons and whatever. So you know, who were getting a hotel room because fuck it, our homes are too far and we don't want to take the subway.
Well, and we had Airbnb parties at Rich's place until Did you finally get kicked off the app?
I had my last warning from that particular landlord. Yeah,
Oh shit!
not very happy.
Damn.
Whatever.
What did you do?
Look,
Just
it
loud?
was worth it. We ran that shit into the ground.
We
Okay.
marched gigantic groups. Anyone we could find when the bars were closing, and we just have a horde on the streets. I've got videos of it with like one time we had like 20 people all behind my mind because I was like, fuck, my house is gonna get wrecked. What am I just gonna go to the shop and buy a load of beers? That will fix it.
I mean, by the way,
Might as well.
like we didn't actually destroy the place or anything, right? That wasn't the issue. It wasn't like damage. It was just that we broke all the COVID rules because they were like, "Oh, you can't have people over, you can't have a party," and we were like, "Oh, okay." It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I've been to I remember I went to Gum's place. That's where I got yelled at by that one girl. I forget her name.
I hated her. I know exactly who it is.
But yeah, like I remember, having an Airbnb was just like a really good way to just have people go to your place and you know, especially if it's like really in a really good location.
Yeah,
like where that one was. It was just
also,
right there.
Like hotels and Airbnbs is also a very good way to solve logistic issues.
Yes.
Oh, sure. Sure.
Yeah.
I learned that valuable lesson from Rich, you, Paul, and Mr. Gum.
So one of the things that, and I have no idea what it's like now, but pre-COVID, you could get an Airbnb, especially in Hongdae, like at last minute notice for like $30 maybe. And so what I would tell guys is like, if you have shitty logistics, if you're stuck out in the middle of nowhere, you can either try to convince her to take a taxi back for an hour and pay $50 for the taxi, or just while you're chatting and like, oh, we're gonna get out of here. Yeah, let's go back to my place, and then I'm just gonna pop to the bathroom real quick. While you're peeing, you just load up on your phone, right? Just open up Airbnb, book a place right then, and then they just send you the instructions for the door code and stuff. Okay, great. Yeah, we have a place. It's just around the corner, and you go there for half the price of the taxi. Easier logistics, easier to get people to come and join, and it's just so much better. And then you don't have to worry about cleanup. Then you don't have to worry about like, are there still hairs in my drain? And like,
like one random strand is all it takes for you to get fucked.
Or to not get fucked.
That too. Yeah, it's true. It does solve a lot of issues. I remember one of my closest friends taught me, like, if you can, he had a rule. He was like, I never take people back to my place because he was he had a girlfriend, and so he didn't want to leave anything behind, any residuals, as he called it.
Yeah.
And so he would just get a love motel or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
That's the only way you can possibly deal with it.
Depending on the girls, like my experience is they are very resistant to go to love motels. In my experience.
I think it depends on where you are, what kind of girl it is, and what time.
Yeah.
If it's 3 a.m. and you guys are both drunk, then it's like it's here. All right.
Yeah. So my experience with that is, so I mostly date girls that are over 27, 28, right?
Right. They're going to be very resistant.
They are very resistant to that.
Yeah.
Like anything that starts with motel is like, yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
So by that, I just got the habit of just, okay, wherever I have my routines, it's like, okay, I know exactly which hotel I'm going to. If I'm getting something, I take the 5 minutes, go to the bathroom, and then I have 2 or 3 hotels around the area that I know are okay, and then you just quickly book it and go check in.
Yeah.
It's especially
hotels and Airbnbs, totally fine. Motel, you're gonna.
Yeah, I wouldn't suggest that unless there's like absolutely nothing, and you were too drunk to remember to get an Airbnb or a hotel.
Yeah. You can't figure out your login because you're shit faced.
No. It happens. I remember one time I got so drunk I forgot Spanish.
One time I got so drunk I remembered Spanish. Oh, all right. Let's move on to Coot's question. So Coot submitted one in Discord. The kid, can you read that one for us?
Yeah. So his question is on how do you deal with a mother hen or friend zone or friend zone dudes during that game?
Yeah. So Coot, the motels that call themselves hotels, everybody knows what they are, right? Basically, if there's no proper check-in desk, there's just like an old dude who's like, here's your key. If they check your IDs when you're coming in to make sure you're over 18, right? Like, you know what it is when you get there, no matter what the name is. Now, as far as dealing with friend zones and mother hen, yeah, and by friend zone guys, I assume you mean like the beta orbiter guys and stuff. Mother hen. Honestly, the best thing you can do is have a competent wingman to take care of the mother hen and like the whole group generally. But any situation where you can reasonably isolate the girl from her group, especially from people who are going to try to stop you guys from hooking up, you need to find a reason. It could be hey, it's a little bit hot in here. Let's go outside, get some air. I'm going to go smoke. Let's, whatever, right? Some reason to separate off from the group without hitting mother hen's hen sense, spidey sense. There's something there, but
I have a very good, like, two ways that are very good. So especially like we frequent corner a lot, right?
Yeah.
So in corner you have all the games upstairs.
yes,
Those are a perfect excuse to, like, okay, do you want to just go play a quick game and then
yeah, let's go play a game.
Then you get 5 minutes alone, right?
Yeah.
The second way is actually beer pong. Just make sure they're on opposite teams, and you're on the team that with the girl that you want, because that it puts quite a lot of distance, and then the mother hen also can see you guys are having fun, and you're all having fun together, making the mother hen less intrusive afterwards.
Yeah. I think that the mother hen thing is the issue, right? What causes that is that, first of all, she's upset that she's not getting any attention. But second, and the one that they would admit to, is that they aren't sure you are a good idea for their friend, right? And so if you can assuage her doubts on that front, show her that you guys are getting along, that you're both happy with the situation, that you're cool, that you're not gonna, give her friend chlamydia and then, right? Like, just show her that you're okay. Then it kind of tones down her henniness a bit.
Yeah. I think that works well, along with having a competent a wingman, a good friend who could help you kind of isolate her away from everyone.
Yeah.
I had a good friend who did that for me. He took the girl to a kebab stand while I took the other girl home. So it worked brilliantly.
Hey, you look hungry. How about a kebab?
He said, it's exactly what he did. He said, hey, let's go get some kebabs.
By the way, they've just opened up a kebab shop, like literally next to Corner Pub. It's perfect.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Dude, brilliant. It was
Yeah,
trash,
like,
man.
you know
gotta give it to him.
that alleyway that leads from Corner to RGB? It's now a kebab shop.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like right there.
It's perfect location.
I mean, it looked like a crack den for the longest. So I'm glad they did something with it.
No kidding, man. That alleyway was so nasty.
Ugh, yeah, I was like, what? I know the other one was COVID alley. We call that one like heroin alley.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was like a flop house. But
Yeah.
it's kind of tricky to deal with the mother hen though, because they will do everything in their power to cock block us. The beta orbiter is especially nasty. I was dealing with one and these were just friends. You guys know them. And I was taking them back to mine, and this guy, he was extremely socially awkward, Gyopo, Korean American. And we were playing beer pong. He slapped my ball out of the way, and I was like, dude, you just slapped my ball. You can't do that. And then he was telling me that he didn't. I was like, he was just that weird.
Yeah.
And anyway, like, he was just following us around, and we were about to go back to my place to watch some movies and hang out and drink some more. And he was just like weirdly looming over us, like herpes. He was just like around a corner, just like waiting to come out. And we got to the cab, and he was like standing there trying to get in. I was like, sorry, dude, this is friends only. I don't know you, so I'll see you around. And so I just went home. I went back with the girls who were my friends back to my place. And I was like, God, Jesus, what a fucking idiot. So sometimes you just have to be straight up with the beta orbiter, just tell them to fuck off in nicer or harsher words.
So I think
they're men.
One of the situations where you're going to have to deal with a lot more of the beta orbiter guys is whenever you're dealing with groups of students, like university students, right? And they come out together as a friend-ish group, but they're not really close friends. They're just, maybe they're all classmates, or they're all working on a project together or something, right? And the dudes get really jealous. In situations like that, it's hard because you don't want to rock up into their group and like try to kick people out of their group, right? Because then you're the asshole and nobody likes that. But I feel like there are are ways to deal with them depending on their kind of temperament and their situation. But the easiest one that I found is just like buy the dude a drink, because if he's friends with you, then he wants to help you. And there's no easier way to make friends with guys than being like, hey, you seem like a cool guy. Let me buy you a beer. And just, there you go. And now he thinks that you think he's cool. You bought him a beer. He's like, yeah, you know what? Jack's all right. I like him. That's fine. And then he's not going to bother you much anymore.
Or there's the opposite thing you can do. You've got amazing rapport with a girl. You just like want to get away from you get her on your side. You basically get her to team up on doing one, right? Or
let's get rid of this guy. He's weird.
Or even you just whisper, do you know this guy? Well, let's get rid of him.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of him. Like,
Smart.
blah, blah. And then she'll, if she tells the guy, hey, women are amazing at excuses. They'll come up with the best lie ever to get rid of the. And he's like, oh, okay, I'll see you at class tomorrow. Okay.
Hey, I'm sorry, you're making the whole bar smell like desperation. Could you please leave?
I did something similar with the mother hen. You remember the German chick I was saying?
Yeah.
She had her mother hen was intense. Like she was so annoying. She was a double masker and all this stuff. So I was like, great. And she would just not leave her. And so like I got her on my side. The girl I was seeing, I was like, hey, look, she's really fun, right? So every time like the girl was distracted, I would lean into my date and I would just do this. I would just snore and then she would crack up. She's like, stop, don't do that. But I was making her laugh, right? So I had brought her onto my side. I was like, oh my God, like when are we getting rid of this one? The life of the party here.
Yeah,
so
right.
It worked because she fucked off and she stayed with me.
Yeah. Yeah, there are so many different ways to deal with these situations. And honestly, you kind of have to experience different things to figure out what situation being direct and saying, hey, fuck off and leave. Or what situation teaming up with the girl and being like, hey, get this guy to leave. Or what situation your wingman can take the fat bitch out for kebabs or whatever, right? Like you kind of have to be able to call the audible there and just play it by ear, because it's gonna be different every time. There's no guaranteed surefire way to work on these, but there are a lot of different ways that work.
Yeah, there is one more specifically for, like, say we're out as a group. Say if the four of us went out and we meet this group of say there are 3 girls and 1 beta orbiter, and we're like, okay, it's time for after party. It's late. Let's go back to somewhere we can just be the little group rather than in the big bar. Yeah. And then they have the beta orbiter like following you when you're leaving, right? Then it's obvious the friend in the group that doesn't have a girl currently, he says, okay, let's go. Like we go there, and you put him in charge of getting beers with the guy that is not with a girl right now, right? Because that guy is gonna go to the club or he's gonna go home and sleep anyway. And then they go get the beer. You get the beta orbiter to get the beer, and then you're like, oh fuck it, I'm tired, I'm going home. And then the rest of you are already gone, right? Because we're already back at the hotel partying, because of course we already have drinks there, right? So we've been doing that.
Sound like on a wild goose chase kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
You give him a mission and then you kind of ditch him there.
That is brilliant. Really send him away. Because like, oh, where's everybody?
I think Rich and I did that a few times when guys tried to follow us back for Airbnb parties, and we were like, "Okay, guys, can y'all get ice? All right, get some ice, and then we'll pick you up there in a few minutes." And then Rich just never did, because like,
that reminds me. Yeah, I think I've done that in my hotel as well. I sent him downstairs to get shit, and then I called the desk that guy back up.
Mhm.
Because he can't.
Yeah.
You have to have the key to.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious. I once did a reverse like beer run. So I noticed this girl I liked. She was surrounded by a bunch of guys, and I was like, I'm gonna use my brain to fix this up. And so I was like, hey, really quick, I'm gonna go get some drinks. You want to come with me? And she did.
Yeah.
There you go.
And then
So
you just,
like,
And the
don't
best,
come back.
the
Yeah.
best thing with that one is if you're at someone else's party.
Right.
So you go get the beers and then you just go home to your place.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, it's a double whammy.
Yeah. Now, Coot, no. Coot asks, have any of the beta orbiters tried to fight you? I don't know why it's not
No.
loading up right, but like, no, not even a little bit, right? Like, these are guys who are too scared to tell a girl he's interested in her, right? He's definitely not going to try and step up on you and try to fight you, right?
Oh,
Like,
no,
that
they'll
would
go-
not happen.
They'll
It's
go the
literally
snake
never
route.
happened.
They'll
Yeah.
snake route, the sneaky route. They'll try to whisper in her ear or tell her he's a bad. They'll always go the beta route, which
Right.
Mhm.
is behave like a pussy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
That's the
they'll
way.
talk, but you know, you're better than they are, so there's not much of an issue.
Yeah. No, I'm.
Yeah.
That is the least of the worries, right?
Yeah, they
And,
will
and
not
it will
fight.
it will make the girl hate the beta even more, and then you're just completely
Girls
chill.
don't like assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she'll probably get the guy to leave. I mean, it always depends, doesn't it? But
Yeah, like no girl wants a guy to start a fight. That does not exist, especially if it's like just some guy and like I know he's into me, but I'm not. And if that guy tries to start a fight, she's going to be like, "Right, I'm fucking out of here. I don't want anything to do with this." So he might blow up your set, but he'll never actually try to fight you, right? And plus, there's no such thing as a fight between dudes that can't be brought down with like, all right, man, calm it down. Let me buy you a beer. Okay? Are we good? Right? Like, because dudes are simple, right?
Yeah. We are very simple creatures. Yeah, beer solves everything.
Yeah.
Don't fight. And the beta orbiters, they will not fight you. They will, like Rich said, they will just undermine you. They'll whisper bullshit. They'll talk shit to you.
Yeah.
At worst, but they won't. They won't. Physical aggression is never a thing because they're wimps.
Yeah.
So
Whenever you start noticing that a dude is trying to like undermine you, trying to be weird, if he's just like creeping and looming over you, then I think the easiest thing to do there is to just ask the girl, be like, "Oh, my bad, is that your boyfriend?" And she's gonna be like, "No." "Oh, do you want something?" "Sorry, I what can I do for you?" "Hi, I'm Jack. It's nice to meet you, but right, we're having a conversation here." And just like address it head on, but not in an aggressive way, just like, "What is this situation? What the fuck are you trying to do? Because I know you're not trying to fight me. And I know that what you're doing is not impressing her. So you just let her be aware of how weird he is. Make it open, stated, so that everybody knows. And then like, okay, we're clear. You're not part of this."
You know what
that's
I've done
great.
before, where I just like rubber stamp this thing. Is go like, "Hey, who's this guy? This friend zoner you got around here?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, he's just like totally obsessed with blah blah blah." That just his chances are dead in water.
Yeah.
Like, he's dead dead.
Who's this guy you friend zoned?
Who's friend zone over here? Population him.
I love it.
Yeah, it works.
Oh,
It works because automatically you're telling her this guy's obsessed with you. He's being weird and he's obviously in the friend zone. And then you get her to agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To
admit it, right?
Making it stated and out in the obvious, even if it's something that everybody knows, but actually putting it into words and having her agree, like, yes, that is this situation. It makes it a lot more real in her mind. And she's like,
Mhm.
right, this is a fucking problem I need to deal with, isn't it?
Yeah. Especially if we frame it that way. So.
Yeah. Hey, bro, do you want a shovel? What? A shovel? Yeah, to try and dig yourself out of the friend zone hole you're in. Like, you're not getting anywhere. Just dig up, idiot.
Doesn't need one of those construction claws to get
Yeah.
himself out. There's no way. What an idiot.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's that. Like, I feel bad for those guys, but also at the same time, don't do that. And this is my job, right? I can fix you, but instead you're just doing this shit, right? Like, instead of actually trying to get better, instead of actually learning how to talk to women and to be attractive and to not be a creeper, you're just like, well, I know this hasn't worked for me once yet. Let's double down on it. All right, man.
God, yeah.
Well,
It's a-
since
Go ahead, Paul.
we're nearing the end, I have a story regarding mother hens.
Story
that you can
time.
Let's hear it.
hear
Let's
at
hear
the
it.
end.
Mhm.
And this involves so we were in Corner Pub. One of our friends comes running down to me because I'm outside smoking, and he says, I need your help. I have this really cute girl upstairs, and her less cute mother hen. Can you come help me out? I say, sure. And go up there, and we're going to play pool. We do the flipping for who plays which team. And of course, I make sure that I get on the mother hen's team. But then the odd thing happens. The cute girl that he really wants is not interested in him. She wants me.
Mm-hmm.
The mother hen wants him, and he has no interest whatsoever. So we play it out for a while, and yes, we get quite far, but because he can't really give it to the grenade, things kind of go into this stalemate where it's like, yes, she's entertained enough to leave us alone in the bar, but not entertained enough that if I try to take her outside, she's going to come running after.
Right.
So in the end, it's like, yeah, we've tried to get rid of that girl for 3-4 hours now. Okay, fuck it. This is not working. I'm going home. But luckily for me, so made sure like we had a good vibe, met up with the girl the next day alone, of course, and took it out.
Okay. So you just
Nice.
accepted the L for the night and took
Yeah.
her contact and like
Yeah, and then, okay, let's make this a win tomorrow instead.
Good.
And-
Patient.
a tactical retreat is sometimes what is called for, right? Like,
Yeah.
especially if the hens keep hitting, if the orbiters keep orbiting, and there's just nothing you can do to stop it, then just take the number and, tactical retreat, man. Just save it
Yeah.
for the next day.
It also makes you look really good because it shows the girl that you're not gonna do like a one night thing, that you're willing to put in time and effort.
Yeah.
It's just a game of patience.
Yeah. A lot of times that's all that it is figuring out, being patient enough to figure out the situation and then applying the correct response to the situation.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Well, I mean, with that said, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. So thank you guys for joining. And for those of you watching, thank you. I appreciate every single one of you. If you haven't done it, hit the like button so that YouTube thinks I'm awesome. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet. And I'll catch you guys next week. So until then, wait. Before that, shall we do one last surprise? Cheers with chaps together. I think we shall. You guys have a beverage? You have something to drink?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, then. Let's lift our glasses for one final surprise. Cheers with chaps.
Cheers.
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 right. And with that said, thank you, player panel. Thank you, viewers. I'll catch you guys next time. Papa Jack out.